no power like the power of the people.
In 1999, we put the brakes on the WTO, and those protests also produced tremendous political energy. There were other massive protests around the world against IMF, International Monetary Fund, the World Bank, and other institutions of global capital. And in Seattle and beyond, there were so many discussions about how to maintain that energy and continue building coalition to fight the WTO and to create a just global economy.
Nothing gets thrown at us. We are not in danger. We have no intentions of making any move on you.
We're all committed to nonviolence here, so we just want to make sure we demonstrate that to you. So
I haven't hurt anybody in 30 years. I don't plan to start now.
We started to weave our way through the roadblocks that they had set up, and I looked around and could see people were afraid, and at that point I said, you know, that's really not fear in your gut or in your throat, that's really your first taste of freedom.
There was a banner, you know, Teamsters and Turtles together at last. That was so wonderful. Of course, we belong together. The same people who exploit natural resources exploit human resources. We belong together.
This is something that's part of our prophecy, that it's time for us to unite ourselves as common people throughout the world, crossing some of these barriers that have been created by corporations to keep us apart.
Yeah, we got to have solidarity around these things, but solidarity doesn't mean that we don't talk about the issues that separate us. And that's the biggest change that I see happening. Not for us to buy into the whole kumbaya, let's sit around a fucking campfire idea and just march down the road together. That's part of it. But you got to take it that step further. Race, class, gender, sexism, heterosexism, the whole 9 yards. If that's not in your analysis, then you're only half-stepping. And you're not really working for the revolution.
I will absolutely never be the same again. I've never seen this before. I've never seen people stand up like this before. And I'm going to take this home, and this is going to keep me going for a long time. Because it's really opened my eyes to some amazing possibilities.
We need to then make this circle full and not rest satisfied that the streets of Seattle were fully global, because they will not be fully global till the streets of Delhi and Trivandrum and Ghana and in South Africa and in Bangkok and in Latin America, we start to have the same expressions of solidarity and the same sense and build-up that we are together in this.
And I remember well the momentum that followed the World Trade Organization protests and just the desire to keep going. And it was really exciting to get to be part of a group of people thinking about that and working towards it in the consultations we did in the year following.
21 years ago, in the aftermath of the WTO festivities, we began to recognize the need for a multi-issue, multi-community organization dedicated to global justice.
Some of us felt that there was not one organization that was centering a local, global perspective and weaving the different threads together. So after consulting with labor unions, environmental organizations, Community Coalition for Environmental Justice, LELO, faith communities, lots of groups and leaders who've been involved in the WTO, I pulled together about 10 people from these various constituencies to form the first board.
And we were inspired to create a grassroots membership-based organization working with people and organizations locally, regionally, nationally, and internationally. And one of the things I think we took from the WTO protest that we learned was just looking at the importance of the diversity of tactics, and also just were inspired by the incredible creativity that was employed.
We organized against the Free Trade Area of the Americas, a proposal that fell apart in part due to the resistance from around the hemisphere. We worked against CAFTA, another proposed expansion of NAFTA, which unfortunately passed, but we did really good work in our region, and together with Jobs with Justice and other organizations, we succeeded in getting 4 out of the 5 Western Washington Democrats who started out saying, I'm definitely voting for CAFTA, in switching their votes and voting against it. It was a tough fight. We lost in Congress by 1 or 2 votes. And in those first years, I remember we did a forum on how globalization drives migration in collaboration. We did that in collaboration with El Comité. And we also adopted a commitment to training our leaders in racial justice with the People's Institute for Survival and Beyond.
After the Washington Fair Trade Coalition was formed, that was an opening for CAGJ to consider a new direction, and out of that, the Strengthening Local Economies Everywhere kind of overarching campaign framework was born, and that's what we called our first dinner at the Polish Hall, which was a huge success. It was just buzzing, and I remember just thinking, why were people so excited about this event? So we started an inquiry or consulta about that with local immigrant rights groups and food justice groups, with labor groups, and learned that there was a place for CAGJ in what was already, a deep field of organizations doing food justice work locally, but that we would bring the local to global analysis, and also a focused social justice lens. So looking at race, sexism, classism in the food system.
We realized that meant strengthening local economies everywhere. And for us, that meant working with food producers and people in the food distribution system here in the United States, and with farmers and farmers organizations all across the globe, and in particular in Africa.
The focus of our work became strengthening the food sovereignty movement, which we just formalized recently in our new mission statement.
Some of my favorite memories are a brief occupation of Senator Maria Cantwell's office, riding the ferries back and forth to have conversations with the constituents of Jay Inslee, who at that time was a member of Congress, who said he was voting for CAFTA, and also shutting down the annual shareholders meeting of Costco when they were involved in a construction project that destroyed a lot of trees and historical murals in Cuernavaca, Mexico.
Another thing I liked was the creativeness of the group and our sometimes zaniness. Like, who would have thought to have a CAFTA demonstration on the Bainbridge Ferry, because that was where Jay Inslee commuted from his home over to his office. Then Congressman Jay Inslee commuted from his home over to his office in Shoreline.
I just remember how fun it was to write new lyrics to songs for our sing-in, and briefly occupying Senator Cantwell's office. I got to be the hoopla director for the Race to the Bottom, which was a great action, and we sang FTAA to the tune of YMCA. Remember, there was CAFTA, the Trojan calf that we wheeled out. We made a papier-mâché calf and wheeled it out at many of our actions.
And it was through CAGJ that I learned the real meaning of solidarity and the value of solidarity. One of my fondest memories is the Race to the Bottom, a very creative idea to publicize our opposition to CAFTA and the broader community. We had a 5K race that was certified and permitted from Occidental Park to Myrtle Edwards and back again.
As we developed relationships with BIPOC urban farmers, indigenous fisher people, gatherers and farmers, and people in Africa who are providing food for their families and communities on really local scales, we recognized the struggles were the same. And as we built specific relationships with people in Kenya, other parts of Africa, as we built specific relationships with tribes here in the Northwest, we've begun to weave together these struggles in such a powerful way, and that's why it's really exciting to be a part of this organization.
I was a board member for CAGJ back in 2008, maybe, for a couple of years. It was a time of big transition for CAGJ and for me, really, switching the focus of the organization. We started the SLE dinners then. I remember cooking kale chips at a SLE dinner, which seemed like a revelation then. It's kind of old hat by now.
Some really key moments for me were the 2014 Africa-US Food Sovereignty Strategy Summit that we pulled off with 1.5 staff people, or not even that much staff hours, just so much volunteer labor and love went into that literally over years. And it was an amazing experience to host 8 African leaders and about 20 leaders from around the U.S. to strategize together on how the U.S. could work more strongly, effectively in solidarity with the African food sovereignty movement, given that they're up against U.S. corporate players and, of course, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And just being here in Seattle decided that we had to take that on. And a lot of amazing work has come out of that summit that we continue today.
The 2014 summit in Seattle, the rallies, the collaboration this year to expose the false claims of Agra, they're all an abundance of having an amazing ally and partner like you in the struggle for our food sovereignty and our food rights.
I'm probably most proud about having been able to help bring AgriWatch people to a UN meeting, which they were able to meet some of our foreign colleagues and get to know them well.
Nation opposes genetically engineered salmon because we believe very strongly that the salmon were gifted to our ancestors from the Creator. Nothing we can do as human beings can restore a wild stock once it's gone. So if we can't live with worst case scenario, what are we doing even thinking about going there? Because ultimately, we are the Salmon People.
We are the Coast Salish people, the Salmon People.
We are Coast Salish people, we are Salmon People, and this is our cause.
Specifically working on a community partnership campaign with the Muckleshoot Food Sovereignty Project on a campaign to stop genetically engineered salmon. Taught me a lot about the responsibilities of food sovereignty activism in that place to co-Salish sovereignties.
Also publishing 3 beautiful publications. It's so rewarding this year to have that initial spark from, 15 years ago, be an inspiration for our new gorgeous digital zine and soon to be print zine as well.
Which I just got the proof of in the mail today. And it's so beautiful and such an amazing collection of stories and heart and soul from so many contributors and people who work very, very hard on this. So I'm incredibly excited to be sharing this with you all very soon.
And there are so many reasons that I am grateful for CAGJ, from being a part of some of the initial designs and creation of the summer school, to organizing hackathons, to all the amazing people I have met locally, nationally, and internationally because of being a part of CAGJ.
But really what stands out are the relationships that I built with CAGJ's partners, grassroots, farmer, farm worker, food system worker, or organizations, and with people in this community. And I continue to carry these into my work and my life, and I really couldn't have asked for anything more meaningful.
When I think of what CAGJ is, what comes to me is that it's a center, a space, a gathering place for hardworking, dedicated, creative, visionary people to come together to say we can make a difference on social justice for the world by starting right here and working in our own community to build that awareness and those connections. And it has been such a privilege to be a part of that over the years and to see what an impact, as they say, just a few people can have that are dedicated and working hard.
On a more personal organizational note, CAGJ has been there since the beginning of our union here in CAGI County, and promoting the boycott and setting up solidarity picket lines at stores, being out in marches, bringing people up for different events.
We have been honored to stand with you in keeping genetically engineered salmon out of grocery stores. You have stood with our thousands of grocery workers to improve the working conditions in their workplaces. Most recently, collectively, we as members of PCC have gotten workers on the board.
CAGJ has been a really important resource for me for learning about issues, especially about food sovereignty and agroecology. And I love that its scope is all across the board, from local to global. And most of all, I love that it fosters caring relationships between people.
In 2020, I got to participate in helping shape CAGJ's theory of change. It was a really long but wonderful process with people who brought spirit, humor, and heart to the work.
I really appreciate CAGJ for the ways working with the organization really politicized me around food and agriculture. Right as I had graduated from college and had moved to Seattle. And I really attribute CAGJ in a lot of ways for why I'm a farmer today and why I know anything about organizing.
There's been a lot of great work in the last 15 focused on food sovereignty. I salute your work and look forward to seeing what comes next.
Happy birthday! Congratulations on making it this far.
Hi CAGJ, happy 20th anniversary! Woo! So proud. I wish you so much more analysis building and doing all the things that you do. Thank you.
It's an amazing organization that was really pivotal in my activist career and my belonging, even in Seattle. And I am so happy to be celebrating its 20th year.
Congratulations on 20 years. That's incredible. And I just want to thank you for all of the work that you do.
CAGJ really offers a beacon of hope, connection, and solidarity in a time where the world can feel really messy, challenging, and hopeless. My hope for CAGJ in the next 20 years and beyond is that we continue to deepen our relationships with our solidarity partners, grow and nurture new relationships, and always keep the vision of food sovereignty at the forefront of our organizing. Congrats, CAGJ, on 20 incredible years, and to 20 times 20 more.
And I continue for sure to be inspired by the radical work that's carried on. So CAGJ, I love you, and you'll always be in my heart.
I think that's one of the things that's really special about CAGJ is just this web of beautiful relationships that we've been able to cultivate between members and volunteers and solidarity partners, not just in Seattle, but all over the world. And so thank you all for being here, and thank you, CAGJ. Congrats on 20 years.
CAGJ does so much work and brings together so many incredible humans who care about making this world a more just and abundant place for all, and I feel so grateful to be part of that community. Hugs to everyone.
I look forward to seeing what you all do in the next 20 years, and happy to be here for it. Happy anniversary.
And so that is my wish for CAGJ going forward, that it keeps that interpersonal piece even as its numbers and scope grow ever wider.
And I wish CAGJ all the best in the future going forward. I know the work has been really meaningful out there in the world, and I'm so glad that CAGJ still exists and is still fighting the good fight. Thanks.
I hope we'll all stay in the race and continue this great organization and tradition. Thank you very much.
I love my job. I appreciate all of CAGJ members so much. I can't believe it's been 22 years since the WTO protests, and we'll keep fighting the good fight.
I just want to take this opportunity to congratulate CAGJ on 20 years and to thank them for being part of NFFC. And I want to thank them for continuing to work with farmers all over the world to help them decide what they'll eat, who grows it, and how it'll be grown. Thank you so much for that. And here's to many more years of being a very productive member of civil society, both here in the United States and in Africa. Cheers, everyone.
We hope that they have another very happy, very prosperous and successful 20 years, and certainly are, as we said, grateful to be part of their effort.
We want to say a big congratulations to the Community Alliance for Global Justice and AgriWatch on your 20th anniversary. We have come a long way and done great things since we forged this great partnership and alliance. As you celebrate 2 decades of impact, very impactful work, we cannot help but be amazed at all that you have done and your victories. Indeed, it is encouraging to find another strong voice in this struggle. On this day and on this occasion, we wish you more energy, more victories in the struggle. Happy 20th anniversary. In solidarity.
Thank you for all of the support uplifting farm worker rights in Washington State. From the Ecofeministas in Wacomiskatchick County, solidarity with CAGJ. Solidarity! Solidarity!
We wanted to congratulate Community Alliance for Global Justice for all the work they've been doing throughout the years. They've been one of the organizations that have been really pushing for food sovereignty here in Washington State. We really appreciate all the work that CAGJ has done throughout the whole years, and it's going to continue to do so. And we also ask people to support them in their organizing efforts.
On behalf of the 47,000 members of the United Food and Commercial Workers Local 21, one of your solidarity partners, we wish you the happiest 20th birthday celebration. You are food people and we are food people, and we all feel passionate about workers all along the food supply chain. CAGJ, we can hardly wait for the next 20 years of nourishing each other and our vibrant food justice movement. Enjoy celebrating your successes today and into the future. We love you.
Happy 20th anniversary, Community Alliance for Global Justice. We are a proud solidarity campaign partner with Community Alliance for Global Justice. I have the privilege of sharing an office with Heather and others. So happy anniversary and joyfully, everyone.
So here's to the future we envision, where people and the planet flourish in harmony.
The notion that we have these relationships that we've built, strengthening local economies everywhere. We're here, other economies are elsewhere, but we're working together. That's such a beautiful thing. It always makes me choke up. I love CAGJ.
I hope to be a member 20 years from now as we get into our 40th or 41st anniversary, and look forward to seeing you then.
And I know that if all of us could have groups like this in our communities that are so effective at the community, national, and international level, we wouldn't have to wait for this world of justice and equity that we're dreaming of. It would be here already. Thank you for your work.
And my wish for CAGJ tonight is that in another 20 years, we are celebrating that we have achieved local and global justice, and that we have returned land back to Indigenous people, and there is no longer a need for organizations like CAGJ and all of its allies.